You are all doing well. I am dropping a few packs off. Thank you, as always, for supporting Disabled Vet Source on eBay. um, we filed a couple new motions with the 35th District Court, so we're excited to see where that takes us. We have everything drafted for Circuit Court. Um, just waiting on some extra cash flow. Not too much longer. And then we'll do what we can. We will do what we can. And then let God handle the rest. We're all God's children, and which means that we're all homeless in a sense, right? We all belong to the Father. So I saw a comment in one of the videos, I believe it, or it may have been on Facebook. Westland Community News covered the January 9th break-in, and one of the comments was like, I let homeless people live in my house or something, or there's homeless people living in my yard or something. I can't remember the retarded comment, but it was something that was about that retarded, and retarded to that effect. And it got me thinking. I said, man, wow, what a sorry way to think. But anywho, just been catching up on family time and the Sabbath and all of that. So rest assured, we have a lot of motions to be filed and a lot of new developments. And we shall see. As you guys know, the fight for freedom and for sovereignty and dominion, those things are oftentimes a lifelong battle, right? America's been really hijacked on a governmental level. All three branches, local, county, state, federal. There's a lot of corruption. A lot of corruption in government, obviously, as we can see with the Epstein files and countless other examples over the millennium, since 2000, 2001, I guess. 9/11. From 9/11 onward, there's been just a plethora, a buffet's worth of corruption. Really an inconceivable amount of corruption. I don't think the average person, I think the average person knows that the government's corrupt, but I don't think the average person understands or can truly comprehend the scale of corruption that, good citizens are fighting against every single day in this country. And you are putting your life on the line when you speak the truth, and you speak truth to power, and unlimited, unfettered, discriminatory power, right? Discretionary power, unfettered, unlimited. So it's not for the faint of heart, I mean, it's really, it's like being a logger, right? I mean, being a logger, and amplify it by 2 if you're climbing trees as well. So certain jobs there's just inherent risk, and certain activities there's just certain risk involved. And what are we to do? What is a nigga to do? Is that what Biggie said, or was that Tupac? I don't remember. But it was somebody. Somebody pondered the question. Shit. I pondered the question multiple times today. What to do? Well, I don't know the answer to everything, but I do know that it involves something along the lines of refusing to quit, refusing to surrender, refusing to give up. At the very least, right, documentation. It seems that every time me and the city of Wayne are in a courtroom, interesting things happen. So we want to continue that momentum. And as much as we would obviously love to, end it, we unfortunately, that just lets evil win, right? So the more we can do to expose evil and to expose corruption and malpractice, government malpractice, right, the better that we can begin to reclaim our country, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't fight for it, you lose it. And Smokey the Bear doesn't like a quitter, and neither does Jesus or anybody else for that matter. So can't quit, can't give up. That's just simply not the option that is in the cards, right? But I'll be right back. I gotta go to bum-ass Walgreens. So my package was too big, apparently. 8-inch Vince was too much for the FedEx drop-off box, so we must go to another. More firewood is a coming, guys. We got lots more firewood coming, and then of course we're going to cut up that firewood and burn it, right? A lot of it, at least. Some of it, not all of it, most of it will sell. Hence the 7 firewood for sale signs in my front yard. So that is a given. But yeah, we're gonna burn some of it, some of the not so desirable pieces of firewood. Maybe the irregulars, we'll call it the irregulars, right? Maybe it's an odd shape, or like it's cottonwood or something we don't like, too small, too big, things like that. But should be fun. You know, our boys got plenty more where that came from. You know, plus we fell trees all the time, guys. You know, logger, right? That's my first love, logging. So, not jogging. I'm not a jogger, but I am a logger, though. I have not forgotten my heritage, where I come from. You know, 1850s. My family immigrated from the British Isles to Alabama and forged out a life. So I haven't forgotten my roots, and 1850s Northern Alabama immigration, right? Not economic, but immigration, true bona fide immigration. I mean, if everybody's a criminal, right? Right? If everyone's guilty of violating some sort of law, or even laws that don't exist, well, then that means that there's no such thing as a criminal, then, right? You've degraded the English language so much, right? Which is what cops do every day, right? Police and I guess fire, sadly, and all municipal workers, all municipalities are guilty of this. But they enforce policies, procedures, and protocols that aren't ordinances, statutes, or laws. And they enforce these policies, procedures, and practices, protocols they weaponize these non-laws against everyday Americans. So that, by that definition, means anybody at any moment can be a criminal, right? Which means that I don't know what a criminal is. I mean, I know what Killjoy is going to say. He's going to say milking parlor, which, you know, again, yes, that is America. Judicial system, it's a milking parlor, as Killjoy would famously say. Which, yes, people, I agree with that characterization. But anyways, how's everybody's Monday been? Starting the week out. Kind of cold up here, up north here. Damn, help Austin find a kidney.com. Somebody find Austin a kidney.com. Or find Austin a kidney.com. Somebody find Austin a kidney, please. Currently on dialysis. We are going to pray for Austin and hope he finds that kidney he so desperately needs. But yes, we are just driving over to the FedEx office. We have to drop off a package. To our good friend down. Oh, I'd have to look and see where he's from. I think Texas, if I do remember correctly. But I will double check with you. I could be way fucking wrong. It could be not Texas. But our good friend has purchased a pair of youth size 6.5 Nike or Air Jordan. They're called the Six Rings series. Very nice looking shoe, black and red with the classic Jordan. It's like retro. It's a retro style. So shout out to Michael Jordan, of course. We love the greatest of all time, the GOAT of basketball. And I would say Michael Jordan is, likely the GOAT. I don't know who else could be at this moment. Definitely not LeBron, the flop. Certainly not the flop. But I think if Luka stays healthy and wins some championships, there's an argument to be made. Luka's insane. Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete Maravich, if he played in another era, he would have likely been 40-some, 50-some points a game average, 40-something all day with the three-point line. So lots of good players right now. Cade, though, Cade's playing like an animal right now. So shout out to Cade Cunningham. More firewood coming for the open burn-a-thon. Zook Pond, coming soon. The first ever body of water in the city of Wayne, Michigan. Rest in peace to John Zook Jr., whose life was tragically cut short. June of 24. June 18th of 2024. City of Wayne executed. Murdered in cold blood, disabled combat veteran John Zook Jr. Complete and utterly preventable. And then the same officer, Jared Grombrowski, he came to my house on more than one occasion to harass me and intimidate and threaten me and my family over a policy, not a law. So basically, a law that doesn't exist. they decided to criminally falsely charge me and prosecute me maliciously. So I don't know. Something that the Circuit Court and the U.S. District Court are going to have to look at and determine for themselves what they see. I mean, I know what I see. I know what I experience. So hopefully they agree. Yeah, we are going to quadruple our stockpile of firewood. Really going to stock up. Oh. Gonna really stock up. And you know, obviously firewood for freedom. So we're gonna be you know, also adding that to the mix. So firewood and, you know, obviously this vet source. We have another store, another brand opening. Freedom Apparel. And GMC Clothing. Obviously the main store, Disabled Vet Source, but you know, we are expanding our inventory, and you know, we took out some money to, you know, really buy up a lot more inventory, and we've since paid that loan off. And so our business model is to borrow as much as humanly possible and continue to stockpile more and more quality inventory. And from there, with the sale of our firewood and our live streams that we're going to be starting with Zook Pond for the wildlife cams, 24-hour wildlife cams, you know, that should be enough to I would say fund the fight for freedom. So we're very excited to be in the position and have the success, right? The sustained success to be able to afford to expand and to grow. And you know, took a minute to get it off the ground, but you know, now that we're fully invested in it, we're excited. What can we say? So I'll be right back, guys. I really appreciate it. And we're back. You know, I'd say my experience selling on eBay has been overwhelmingly positive. Some people complain about the fees, 17%, 16%, 18%, whatever it is. But, you know, I think eBay is just leaps and bounds better than other platforms. And so they make it extremely easy. So we stick with what we know, we stick with what works, and my experience again has been overwhelmingly positive. So I like the authenticity guarantee and the FedEx ground shipping, the express shipping for the shoes. You know, they ship the shoes to the FedEx warehouse, they authenticate them, or the eBay warehouse, excuse me, and they authenticate the merchandise, the products, and I personally like that, you know, because I want to know if my supplier, you know, is trying to commit some sort of Blue Falcon like act against me, right? So it's kind of like a Blue Falcon detector, if you will. So we appreciate that. Yeah, that's some good shit though. Shout out to Smiles. Shout out to Smiles. But yeah, we're looking forward to the upcoming weather getting better and the open burn-a-thon. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's still no formal permit process with the city of Wayne, so you know that's one of their many problems with the newly passed ordinance 2025-02. 2025-02. That ordinance, that newly passed ordinance, it there's no formal permit to fill out, but you know, obviously we're all about safety, and nobody has a safer fire pit in the city of Wayne, Michigan than I do. You know, I'm probably I mean, obviously any fire pit that was, you know, in Wayne before the 2025-02 ordinance is grandfathered in, right? Of course. But the other issue, I guess, is that, you know, virtually all of those fire pits are now out of ordinance. And you know, if they're going to pass an ordinance saying that you can't use a recreational fire pit unless you're 50 feet from a structure or a lot line, well, then that eliminates, like I said, 99% of all residential properties. So effectively, with the way the criteria is written, my property and like 2 or 3 others are even, you know, allowed to legally burn, open burn, I guess, in the city of Wayne now. But you know, my property is so deep and wide that it allows me to have multiple fire pits with adequate spacing. But yeah, the 50 feet, I mean, that's killer from a structure or a lot line. Well, lot lines are very close, right? Lots are very close together, they're very small in the city of Wayne. So, and then of course with the setbacks, and then if you have a accessory structure, a shed or something in the back, well then 50 feet away from that, which that has to be in the rear yard. So once you start doing the mathematical, or once you start doing the geometry, I guess, it becomes very prevalent, very evident rather. It becomes very evident that mathematically it's basically been outlawed by mathematics, which is again, there's only like maybe 6 lots in the entire city with enough space, right? Assuming everything is perfect, and there's only a few lots that they're even eligible. So that's definitely helpful. But still, again, unfettered, unlimited discretion to do what they want. I mean, that's where the line gets drawn, of course, and yeah, driving by the airport, that's one of the few good things about living in the city of Wayne is the proximity to the airport. FedEx is right there, and UPS as well. UPS store is kind of everywhere. They even opened up one in Wayne, so not hard to get a UPS store. But FedEx is a little more tricky. There's one in Livonia, or Westland rather. It's kind of far, but you can go to Walgreens or CVS, most of them, but that's a pain in the ass. Who wants to do that? So try to support the U.S. Post Office when I can. Obviously, if they're the best price, then, but if it's within a few cents, I'll go with the post office. But what can I say? Another crazy day in Wayne, Michigan. What can I say? What can I say? Besides, I'm glad I lived just far enough away from the landfills, because man, that shit fucking stinks. Welcome to Detroit, and then you go straight to a landfill. It's like, damn, what good urban planning that is. Romulus, Van Buren Township, that's where a lot of the landfills are. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Oh, yes, doing a little bit of Lyft driving recently. A lot of shit been doing, trying to, obviously take care of the family, support the family, but really fund this operation and get it going, keep it going, and grow it. So it's a grind for sure. But we've done well. We've made a lot of progress, and so keep on keeping on. The show must go on. The fat bitch is not singing quite yet. And we thank you for taking the time this evening to tune in. Whether you are a bona fide G or a flaming homosexual, whether you're a bona fide G or a flaming homosexual, whether you're a bona fide G or a flaming homosexual, thank you for tuning in. And as always, please smack that like and subscribe button like that fucking rock just smacked my front windshield just now. And I really greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. Shout out to Sheetz gas station in Romulus, Michigan. That gas price is kind of high as fuck, but that's okay. That's why there's options. It's like a buffet in America, many options. Oh. Yeah, back home, almost back home. Wildlife conservation project, Zook Pond, coming very soon. We have gotten through our topographic survey, topographic survey, and we've gotten all of our permits through the state of Michigan. So now we just have to pay the final fee to Schlick Ponds in Montrose, Michigan. And once we do that, we are all set. We are all set. So now that we're free, it's time to obviously go on the offensive. And, got a lot of issues to raise and a lot of things to fight about, right? Legally in court. But we got a lot of it drafted, a lot of it still to go, but got to get some transcripts, got to get some discovery. We're going to continue to request that. Because at the very least, it's got to be recorded. And Shout out to our boy, our hero, our one and only. Alex motherfucking Jones. You know, I remember when people said Alex Jones was a conspiracy theory nut job, which he kind of is, right? But he was right. He was right about a lot of shit long before anybody else even knew about it. So, you know, he was for the most part on the right side of history, without a doubt. He still is, and I hear people call him crazy a lot, but I don't hear people call him wrong a lot. I mean, they might say he's wrong without providing any facts or evidence, of course, but right. I think that's why the city of Wayne hates me so much, is because I have all my receipts, right? I have my receipts, and so having your receipts and, you know, being willing to display them, I guess, is scary, right? It's horrifying. You know, if you're corrupt as fuck, right? Yeah, of course it's horrifying to be in front of a camera. You know, the city of Wayne likes to, like I said, have these little 30-minute city council meetings that don't amount to a whole lot. Do not amount to much of anything other than some bullshit, really. Some nigga bullshit. That's why they call it nigga bullshit, because it's a special kind of bullshit. And of course, you know, as many Americans are, we're just fatigued, right? Fatigued. No representation without, or no taxation without representation type fatigued, right? So I don't know, guys. I don't know. You would think they would learn, but they don't learn. They just double down on their fantasy, on their delusion, on their lie, on their conspiracy. On their travesty, right? They create these travesties. You know, those in power, the government. They create these travesties, these injustices, right? These manifest injustices. And then it's normal everyday people that got to pay the ultimate price. Ordinary everyday people that have to pay the ultimate price for the government's, we'll just call them mistakes, right? But a lot of times they're not actually mistakes. They're deliberate fuck-ups, right? But these deliberate fuck-ups, it's the duty of every American to expose these deliberate fuck-ups and to highlight them and to talk about them and to discuss them regularly, right? Like, I mean, it's kind of your civic duty, right? I mean, so a lot of people understand that, and that's ultimately what you guys have to elect, right, into office, right? If you want people that are going to support your values and beliefs, then when you see them, you have to make sure that they get in power and that they expand their network. And, you know, the Democrat Party obviously ain't going to do it for you. The Republican Party, I hate to say it, obviously better than the Democrat Party, but still, they're not going to do it for you. You know, it's really a third-party option. Libertarian is, you know, really the only option, I guess. Independent first and foremost, but libertarian is probably the closest thing that we have to a viable third-party option, right? Now, obviously, we really need to expand our choices beyond just a two-party system. Because, like I said, while Republicans are certainly better than Democrats, and You know, if that's my only two fucking choices, I guess I'm voting Republican. But it's not like, man, you know, that's not an enthusiastic, you know, that's just a lesser of two evils. But you know, things don't have to be this way, right? We can have more, and we can demand more, and I think we can have more ultimately, but it just comes down to normal everyday people willing to again call out nigga bullshit. You know, just like, you know, just what I did there, right? I honked the horn at some, you know, flamer, we'll just call him a flamer, or a burper, right? A sperm burper. So flamer or burper was driving behind me in a bum ass Dodge, right? Because it's always a Dodge truck or a Chevy or a Ford for some reason or another. And these people, they want you to, you know, drive obscenely over the speed limit, and if you don't, they'll tailgate you and literally try to run you off the road. But I just stand my ground. I just, you know, hold it down. And that's intimidating. That's scary, right? So I guess, I don't know. It's not illegal though. I do know that. I do know it's not illegal to have a bonfire in your backyard, especially a fire pit that was approved by the same people that are trying to say you can't have it. You know, and I do know that once you're on someone's property violating their rights, and you can clearly see, because you can't see from a public easement or from the front yard, that's why you have to break into the property to begin with, City of Wayne. So once you break in and you like see the fire pit up close, and you see that there's no exigency or emergency, then you should immediately turn the fuck around and leave the property. But not the City of Wayne. They continue to instigate the situation, to harass, annoy, and intimidate, threaten the homeowners, right, and the occupants of the property. And then of course they proceed to, you know, take a fucking fire truck hose and drag it 250 feet onto a property, and not only extinguish a smoldering fire pit, but also drench the whole entire area, the whole entire fire pit and the surrounding area, so that way a fire cannot be, you know, restarted, or, you know, for days, right? So searching and seizing your property without a warrant, without consent, without probable cause, without even a codified ordinance to enforce, without exigent circumstances. I mean, it's just it's a mind-blowing, Kafka-esque level of nigga bullshit, right? That's ultimately what it is, guys. I mean, let's just call a spade here. Notice how I didn't use hard R. I said nigga bullshit, because that's what it is. I mean, that's just municipal nigga fuckboy bullshit, I guess. Shout out to Jeremy DeWitt, the police impersonator, who is in prison, I believe, right now down in Florida. You know, funeral escort Jeremy DeWitt, serial cop impersonator. Shout out to him. But yeah, it's a fuckboy. It's a fuckboy. What's it? It's fuckboy enforcement, right? It's you know, Jeremy DeWitt, dude. That dude is hilarious, right? Scary, right? But hilarious. Shout out to Jeremy DeWitt. If Trump should pardon anybody, it's Jeremy DeWitt, because any motherfucker that wants to be a police officer that bad, he needs to be working for the Trump administration, because he needs to be the head of fucking ICE, as far as I'm concerned. Jeremy DeWitt, the funeral escort person, Metro State, down in Florida, the legend, the one, the only. Yeah, he needs to be in charge of ICE as far as I'm concerned. Because he get rid of all that shit. All them illegals, all them Muslim terrorists, them jihadi terrorists, Zionist terrorists, non-Christian, you know, not to say you can't be anything other than Christian, but you know, when you're an extremist, Zionist, jihadist, yeah, it's a problem, right? It's a problem. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, back the blue until it happens to you. That's a good quote. That's something to put it. That's something to put in your yard, right? That's a good yard sign. Back the blue until it happens to you. Yeah, that's what I say to the bootlickers, right? All the bootlickers that you know, like to try to defend and justify, you know, the city of Wayne's actions, right? Their fire department, police department, city hall, and city manager, and you know, downtown development authority director, tax assessor, probation officer, chief of police, etc., right? Fire chief, fire marshal. People that try to expose, or people that try to justify and ratify that shit. Those are the people that I most want to have a conversation with. And ask them some Jeremy DeWitt fuckboy questions, right? Because that's, you know, what the city of Wayne did to me is a travesty, right? But, you know, we got to ensure that it doesn't happen to another veteran, to another disabled person, or just to another American in general, human being in general. I mean, that's just some really sick shit. And we don't want that. We're not looking for that, so. And no, that's what we have to say about that. And no. But what's the dealio tonight, everybody? Stream interrupted. My bad, guys. My fucking mistake. We're of course gonna get a open burn going tonight. Every day is an open burn-a-thon here in the great city of Wayne. Smokey the Bear approved. First and foremost. And that's what's most important. Damn. Damn. Oh, yeah. And we are back. Back. Ah, you thought I froze. I did not. 8916. Hey, what up, Chimp? Chimp 8916. Hey, hey, hey. How are you? I am well. Not well hung, but I am well. So, I don't know if that answers your question or not. Are you smoking high grade? Um, yeah. Yeah, you could say that. I don't tend to consume anything non-high grade. I tend to like everything in life high grade. So, yes, I'm going to answer yes to that question. Are you asking me if this is the economy? No, this is not economy. This is not budget. This is not discount tire. This is not budget tire. This is not economy tire. Value tire. Nothing of that sort. So, we don't. We really don't do anything that's not high grade. If we can avoid it, but I'm never gonna. I'm not cap. I know I'm capping because I'm wearing a cap. I'm not. If that makes sense. I'm not capping. Smokey the Bear would never cap. Versace Vince would never cap. Even when I'm capping, I'm not really capping. I don't know. Only the real will understand what that means. But yes, Chimp, 8916. I am smoking at high grade. High grade. The highest, finest grade in all of Michigan, which is America. So I guess in all of America, the highest grade out there. But anyways, I hope all of the flamers out there and the burpers out there are blessed, of course. We hope they're all blessed. Beyond their wet dreams, right? We hope they're blessed on this channel. Even though they probably don't deserve it, right? They really probably truly don't. But we know the Lord forgives them. We know Jesus forgives them. So we have to as well forgive them. So shout out to the burpers. Shout out to the flamers. Shout out to the degenerates, the Wayniacs, right? The city of Wayne, Michigan, Wayniacs, Waynigans, right? Waynigans, Wayniganders. I don't know. What do you want to call them? The Wayniacs. Yeah, I mean that's one way to put it, I guess. You know, I'm gonna say the crack babies of Wayne, which people in the government seem to promote it, seem to be engaging in it together. Because if everybody has the same character traits, right, then they're all smoking from the same stash, right? They're all getting high on the same supply. So I don't know, guys. You know, I'm just gonna call a spade when necessary. Because if I don't, who the fuck will, right? If I don't call it out, it might not get called out. And we simply can't have that, now can we? No, we cannot. Just like we can't afford to smoke or consume any non-high grade of anything, right? High grade is all we know. High grade is all we blow. Pause. I know where you guys are gonna go with that. But I did throw the pause in there. I'll throw the no diddy in there for good measure. Because that is just simply how a real nigga rolls. And I consider myself part of that category, right? Well, what do the young bloods call it? YN, right? I'm one of the YNs. One of the YNs of the universe. And I take great pride in being one of the YNs of the universe. I really do. And I hope you do as well. I hope, you know. Obviously, this is consumable to the public wants to tune in, right? But this broadcast is intended for, I guess you could be an ON, an old EN, geriatric. You could be an MN, middle, right? You know, we accept. We're for all age groups. There's no age limitation on common sense, reality, positivity, saggy titties, right? I mean, the saggy titties of Wayne, Michigan must be saggy no more, which the only way to do that is to have a tit job. The city of Wayne, I mean, for the lack of a better word, really just needs a tit job, right? Badly. And, you know, I do know Dr. Yoon, right? So I'm going to reach out to Dr. Yoon and see if we can't get the city of Wayne a tit job, because it desperately needs it, right? Definitely needs a tummy tuck, definitely needs a tit job. Yeah, that's just for starters. We'll go from there, but that should be enough to at least make it look good on the outside, because right now, city of Wayne, Michigan, governmentally speaking, is some saggy ass, trash ass titties. You know, look like I just smelled the fart. Lori Goen. That's hilarious, because that's what Lori Goen looks like to me. When you know, when I walked into the city council meeting, a few weeks ago here now, Lori Goen, you know, when I walked in, Larry Goen, yeah, not Lori, Larry. That's what she looks like to me. She looks like Larry Goen, but I guess her name's Lori. But I'm just gonna call her Larry, right? Fuck it. I'm just gonna call her Larry because that's what, you know, she looks like. When I walked in to the city council meeting, she stared at me for what seemed like an eternity, and she just looks like she smelled a fart. Like, I don't know. That's just, you know, she's got the personality of a dry fart, or no, I'm sorry, of a wet fart. Excuse me. She's got the personality of a wet fart, and Larry Gowen just kind of, honestly, kind of gives me the creeps a little bit, but that's just my personal take on it. So, you know, they kind of all, honestly, the women in charge of Wayne, they all kind of look, they all have this look, you know, those in the government, like Diane Webb, Carolyn Miller, Brita O'Leary, Kathy Lawrence, Deborah Wise. Um, yeah, they all kind of look like they smelled a wet fart, right? Like, that's just kind of like built into their fucking facial expression, right? And it's not good, you know. Forget resting bitch face syndrome, Tina Parnell, right? I know we haven't said that in a while, right? I know, God, we said that months and months and months ago, but it's the wet fart face, right, that really gets me going. Is, you know, when I'm looking at a woman who looks like she just smelled a wet fart, like, but that's like her face, right? So, like, you guys have all heard of rusty bitch face syndrome, but what about wet fart face syndrome? So, you know, Larry Gowen, Todd Parnell, Patrick O'Leary, right? Pinhead O'Leary. That's fucked up. That is fucked up. I shouldn't even know who these people are, right? If these people would have just not broken into my house 5 times, they wouldn't know who I am, right? But when you break into a nigga's house 5 times to enforce laws that don't exist, or just to violate people's rights to piss them off, right? Just to piss them off, right? Well, you're gonna know who that person is after that. So, hi, my name is Vincent McFarland. Nice to meet you. This is a flamer-free zone. This is a burper-free zone as well. So if you engage or partake in any of that, or you identify with any of that, burpers or flamers, or the lifestyle thereof, you can do what you want because it's a free country, but preferably get the fuck off this channel. Nationwide YNs, young nationwides, right? Young nationwides. High grade CBD, right? 0% THC CBD, the highest grade. As always, oh yes. shout out to the city of Wayne, Michigan. Shout out to the city of Wayne, Michigan for their cuckold ways. But I am your host as always. Big Daddy Vince, right? Mayor Vince. Oh no, he's Mayor Vince. Better hope I don't become Mayor Vince, guys. That'd be not a good day for you guys. And when I say you guys, I mean the tyrants, the cocks. I mean, what the fuck else do we call them? Pieces of shit, right? The status quo. Saggy ass, trash ass titties. And we got to do better than that, guys. We pay way too much in taxes to be looking at some saggy ass, trash ass titties. You know. And that also includes the Wayne Dispatch, because that's some garbage ass. I mean, it helps to start the open burn-a-thon, right? It helps get the fire started, but it's good for that, right? Good fire starter, I suppose. But use it to get your chimney, your fireplace going, your fire pit going, and what the fuck more can I say, guys? What more can I say other than catch me outside? No, fuck that. That's that dyke bitch's what's that, Bad Baddie? That's what she popularized. But anywho, high grade. The highest grade. Can't wait to get through this weather here, and Zook Pond awaits a lot of great things in the works here, so stay tuned. Ain't nothing but a gangster party.
Gangster party?
Gangster party. That's fucking. I think that's how it goes.
Okay.
Pretty sure. I think it's like it's probably sung a little bit more gangster. Gangsta.
No, we do what we can.
You know, I gotta do what God gives me. You know?
Yep, exactly.
I'm gonna go get some more rags. That's what I'm gonna do.
Ragses?
I got like 50 of them bitches.
Oh, really?
I got to, bro. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here with two.
Yeah.
They look like they're about 2 years too fucking old. Struggling just to not fray apart.
Yeah.
We need some more. Sometimes reality just hits you in the face and you're like, shit. Yeah, those aren't cutting it.
Right.
I mean, they've held up pretty well. I'm not going to say they haven't. But yeah, they were dirty as fuck like a week ago. They were so dirty, you were just like, what the fuck? Am I going to do it this way?
Yeah. I run them every once in a while. Mary runs them every once in a while when we do laundry, but
Yeah, we need to get this fucker going and not have it be used as a storage container. Be nice. Something's gotta be done. I don't give a fuck what it is. Something. Yeah, this cereal right here is about the most disgusting thing.
what is it?
It's loaded.
Loaded Captain Crunch?
Loaded.
Like Frosty in the middle?
Oh, it's horrible. Frosty is just, it's so bad. It's so bad. I don't even know what the fuck. It's worse
It's not even like good bad.
it's bad.
It's
Bad.
that sucks.
Yeah, and I can't believe it. 'Cause you're like, dude, how can it suck that bad?
Right.
But it is.